Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Louis' Garage. So tonight we are going to be working on the Lotus Exige 390 Final Edition. Now you haven't really seen much of this car recently because I've just been enjoying driving it. It's been going really well, it's been a really fantastic car. And also it's been under warranty, so I haven't really needed to do anything and I haven't done my own services. But today, for the first time, I'm going to be doing my own service on the Exige 390 Final Edition, and it should be relatively straightforward because I've already done quite a bit of work in my previous Exige, so I know roughly what to do. And I'll also be showing you in a separate episode how to bleed the brakes and the clutch and change all the new fluids for the clutch and the brakes so that you can do that at home as well. So yeah, let's get into how we actually do a service for Lotus Exige. You'll be surprised that it's actually not too hard. Okay, so step one is that we are going to be loosening up the wheels, the wheel bolts. So you're going to need your wheel bolt adapter from your toolkit. You might have studs or you might have different bolts, it depends on what you have, but from factory they came with bolts that have that particular pattern. You're going to need a 17mm wheel socket and also a breaker bar or some other way of removing your wheel bolts. Now I typically use an impact wrench, but I actually don't on my Lotus, and that's simply just a risk thing. I really don't want anything bad happening to the wheel bolts, so I just do everything by hand, and it's a little bit more secure, I suppose, or there's a little bit less risk. Okay, let's go ahead and get the wheel bolts loose. Okay, so you might be wondering why I decided to loosen the wheel bolts and take the wheels off for a service. And it's a good question because you don't actually need to do that if you're just changing the oil and the oil filter. But the thing is, I said before, I actually want to bleed the brakes and I want to do it properly. Also, I'm going to change the tires to summer semi-slick tires that I bought recently. And I just want to have a really good look around the car because this is the first time that I've really jacked up the car properly since I bought it. And with these Lotuses, there are a few little things that you might need to look out for. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to take the wheels off. But you don't necessarily have to do that. I do recommend it though, because if you're taking your time and you're doing it in your own garage, you might as well take the wheels off, give it a proper inspection, clean the inside of the wheels because they get quite dirty, and it's just better for your car. So the next thing we need to do before we even start jacking up the car is to remove the under tray, because there's actually no jack stand points at the back without removing the under tray. So I think there's only 6 bolts, and we should be able to get the under tray off. Let's go and do that. Right, okay, so I may have misremembered it a little bit. There's actually 3 bolts on each side that hold the side of the under panel. And then I think there's 3 in the middle. And then there's also 5 at the back. So there's quite a few bolts actually, but we'll just undo all of them. And then, we should be able to take the under tray off. Alright, let's go ahead and remove all of these bolts. This one's a 7mm. So on the sides, there's 7mm. In the middle is 10mm. And then you'll find 2 more at the back that are 12mm. There we go, quite dirty. Probably give them a good clean before I put them back on. Right, and at the back it's a similar story. We need to remove these bolts here. There's 5 of them across the under tray, and 2 of them, strangely enough, 12mm bolts, and the 12mm bolts mount to the tow hook that I've got, so that's kind of easy to remember. So there's 5 bolts in total. Whip those off, and we're good to go. I think this must be a special Exige Series 3 Exige V6 thing. There's actually 3 recessed bolts in here at the very front of the under tray. That's what's stopping me from removing it. So you just got to remove those 3. I don't know how I'm going to reach the one in there. And then it should come off. Oh boy. Okay, wow, what an adventure. So after a whole bunch more of these recessed bolts, you'll get 3 at the front, and then I think it was about 5 on the side. You'll be able to, you can have a look at these holes here. Those are where the recessed bolts are. You'll be able to remove the under tray. Gosh, I have to say it was a little bit harder than the previous generations. And this is where the shifter cable's been rubbing, so I probably will do something about that as well. Okay, now let's get this out of the way, and then we'll be able to jack up the car and put the jack stands where they're supposed to go. Okay, and finally this is what the Lotus Exige under tray looks like. So there's obviously a bit of a duct here that's cooling something. There's a heat shield here, probably just for the exhaust and manifold. And then this is apparently the transmission cooler, the airflow going into that. Looks like there's a little bit of a fluid drip there, so I might investigate that. And then, like I said before, there was a bit of rubbing here for the shift cables. So yeah, I might look into that, make sure the shift cable sleeves are still in good nick. Okay, here we go. Bit of a mission to get off, but yeah, there you go. Okay, so now that we've got the under tray off, the next thing we're aiming for are these jack pad stickers right in the middle of the car. And so you just want to position your jack right over that. I do recommend you use a hockey puck to avoid any damage to your underside. So we're going to go ahead and jack up the car using those jack points. I've already done it on the other side, that's why I've got jack stands. But this side is just easier to film. Okay, so next is where you put the jack stands. So there's a jack stand point here right at the back of this engine cover area, between these 2 bolts here. So you can see between those 2 bolts there. And this is a good jack stand point because there's actually a big I-beam that runs all the way across there. And that is what gives it the structural support needed to be able to sustain the whole car. Yep, so position your jack stand somewhere along that I-beam towards the outside between those 2 bolts, and then we'll do the front jack stand. Right, so the front one is pretty easy to find. It is marked by this jacking point sticker. So again, just hockey pucks, and then we move our jack stand into position, and there we have it. We've got all 4 lined up. Make sure the hockey puck is in the middle. Yep, sweet. And then we can lower the car onto the jack stands. Alright, so next we're going to drain the oil, and the oil sump plug is a 14mm bolt. So get your 14mm socket and your breaker bar and get that loose. Alright, let's loosen it up. There we go. That's loose. And then now you just have to loosen it up by hand. Make sure you've got your drain pan right underneath, ready to go. Just like any other car really. I mean, it is basically a Toyota Camry engine with a supercharger strapped to it. So it shouldn't be too difficult to change the engine oil. Alright, there you have it, let that drain. And then we'll work on the oil filter, getting that off next. Alright, so while the oil is finishing draining, you might want to crack open the drain port for the oil filter housing. So that is just a 3/8 extension. So that'll fit in there with your ratchet. And then you can just loosen that up, like so. And that's just to allow some of the excess oil in the oil filter housing to drain out before you try and pull off the oil filter itself. Trust me, usually this gets really messy, so it's nice that they've allowed for that. Yeah, Not so bad after all. Okay. Alright, well I guess we'll remove the oil filter housing next then. Alright, so for the oil filter housing itself, you're going to need a 65mm oil filter removal tool. Just like this one, I've got a whole toolkit full of these. You can buy a kit pretty cheap. So 65mm, and then the 3/8 ratchet should break it loose. Alright, we've got it pretty loose. So that's just coming off now. A little bit tighter than I expected, but yeah, there we go, it's coming. Sweet, and then once you've got it, yep, there we go, loosened up, then we can just use our fingers for the rest. Oh, here comes the oil. Lovely. Okay, time to get that off. Right, just watch out that when you do remove the oil filter housing, there's going to be a bunch of oil coming out. Lovely. Okay, well, time to clean this up, put in the new oil filter, and then we can button everything up again. Messy. Alright, so here we go. Here's the oil filter housing and the cap. And we've got our new Bosch oil filter. We've got the seals as well, the two seals. I don't know if we actually need that little valve, plastic valve thing. Yeah, I'll have to have a look when we open this up. But yeah, basically you just want to take this one off. Just want to take the old one out, like this. Have a good look in there, make sure there's no debris or anything weird in there. This one looks pretty clean and pretty good. So that's cool. So that means we can just dump the old one in there. And then we can install the new one. Yeah, I don't think we need the plastic valve thing. Doesn't seem like we need that. Okay, so we're just going to pop that new filter onto there. Oh, I might need two hands for this. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Alright, after you've pressed the new oil filter in, you just want to get rid of this gasket here. I'm just using a little pick. Go, get rid of that and install the new gaskets as well. Alright, last step is just to make sure that the seal has a little layer of oil around it, just to make sure it seals properly. There we go, that should be fine. And then we can reinstall it in the car. Okay everyone, so we've let the oil drain out of the sump, and now we're going to reinstall the sump plug. Just give the area a bit of a wipe before you install the sump plug, make sure it's nice and clean. The torque spec is 40 Newton meters for the sump plug and 25 Newton meters for the oil filter housing. But we'll prime the oil filter housing first with some oil and then put it back in. Right, let's get 40 Newton meters on the sump plug. Alright, there we go. Done, sump plug reinstalled. Okay, so we're just going to prime the oil filter with some oil. Cool, yeah, that should be enough. And then we'll put it back in. Done. Alright, just putting the oil filter housing back on. Spin it on by hand first, and then we can use our tool and our torque wrench. Nice. You just want to make sure that the seal doesn't get caught anywhere and the housing sits nice and flush with the engine. Cool. Alright, so now we can use our torque wrench. Yeah, last step is just to set the torque. There we go, that's at 25 Newton meters already. And then apparently the cap is 13 Newton meters, so you can probably double check that as well, just in case. Right, now we just gotta fill it up with oil. Alright, so now we're at the back of the engine here, the back of the car. Remember, it's mid-engined. And we've got the oil cap right there. So right on the right hand side of the engine, and then the dipstick is on the right hand side as well. So once you undo the oil cap, just put in your funnel of choice. It's actually quite easy on the Exige. The funnel will kind of just go straight on, so that's nice. And then we'll just start pouring engine oil straight in. I should do this. Okay. Alright, so we filled up about 5.5 litres. I think the capacity is around 5.5 from memory. And so we're going to check the oil level, so just pull out your dipstick. Alright, so as you can see, the dipstick says it's about 3/4 of the way up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the engine and just check it again once the engine's been run for a few minutes. And that will give us the correct oil level as the oil has circulated around the engine. Alright, let's start her up. Alright, let's run it for a couple of minutes and then we'll check the oil level again. Yeah, make sure you actually have your door open as well. Alright everyone, so as you can see the oil level is mostly up the dipstick. It's sort of 3/4 up the dipstick. I did have to add about 1/2 litre after starting the engine and running the engine for a few minutes. So please make sure you do that. But otherwise, just put the dipstick back in, put the oil cap back on, and you've just done a service on your Lotus. So that's pretty awesome. So this car is ready to go for another 12 months. We'll be doing a brake and clutch fluid bleed right now as the car is jacked up, but I'll show you that in a separate video. Alright, catch you next time.